Now it's time for the ArchFilmLund Prize of 2019. And it goes to Zanete Skarule, is that right? For Flying Monk's Temple. A beautiful film that deals with the process of creating a monument and the encounters it entails on the way to its completion. The film has an undertone of conflict between the artist, the architect's desire to create something with a higher meaning, and the financier's commercial plans. It is a beautiful depiction of the meeting between people from completely different worlds who carry out a vision together. The film is visually razor-sharp and poetically performed, where both shifts in climate and the emotions of individuals are described in a low-key but accurate manner. Last but not least, we want to commend the film for the excellent film photography. So, another hand. Sorry, do you want the word?
I don't know. I don't have a speech prepared. And I mean, I couldn't, wow, this was such a beautiful description, so I couldn't describe it better myself. Thank you. Yeah, well, thank you. I'm honored. Yeah.
Can I ask you, how was the commission for the architect? How did it come about that an architect from Estonia got to make a commission in China?
Yeah. So so the architect, he's quite young. I'm not sure how. I think he's 26 or 7. So this actually is film and also completion of the project took 7 years. So for 7 years we kind of followed the process. And he was quite young at that time. And his project, I think that's the kind of the only project he had before, was he was actually representing Latvia in Expo in China.
Okay.
In 2000 was it 2010? Yeah. So that was the place where actually the Chinese, Mr. Zhu, Chinese businessman, came with his son to Expo. And all of a sudden he sees this pavilion, which also contained the engine, the flying engine. So he sees flying people at the Expo, and he says, I want people to fly at the top of my mountain. Because kind of, he doesn't really own the mountain, but he has the ownership for something like 100 years. So that's enough time to make a lot of changes. And what I also found out later, he's, of course, involved with government, so he has kind of priority to use that space. And also, what I found later, that there's a plan of, because Chinese, they don't really have these kind of paid holidays, but it's on the plan. So when it does happen, he'll be ready with all amusement park for people to go on holiday. So yeah, but basically it started with him seeing this this engine, and he wanted the project, and somehow architect, he wasn't planning to, or he wasn't invited to be involved, but somehow he just draw a vision what it could become, because the company that owns this engine, and it's also used for, they started to using it for skydiving and military, and then military purposes, and then later there was one company that actually started using this engine for performance. And at the Olympic Torino Games, you could see like flying snowboarders with no wires, and that was this wind tunnel. And also they were involved in this Expo project. So my answer was so long. But that was how they met, and that was coincidence. But also, yeah, the architect was involved already with this company in this project, and then it seemed, when they met, it seemed they had the same vision, but it was different at the end.
Are there any more questions from the audience about the film?
You have tried to fly?
No, actually, no, I did not. But I know, well, I don't know. I just kind of, it wasn't my temptation.
Difficult to do with the camera.
Yeah. Well, well, I wasn't doing cinematography myself. I had 3 different cinematographers, and the picture, I agree, it is beautiful. But I know that the Minister of Culture of Latvia was flying there. She called me one day, you know, so I was just actually exiting cinema, and I have a call from Minister of Culture, and she says, "Hello, I'm going to China, and I'm going to go to this to see this building." And then I heard she was flying because she said, "I have to show that it's safe." So because everyone was a bit worried.
So the film actually took very long time.
It did, yeah, it did. We wanted. So since the moment I found out about the project, and it wasn't supposed to be a movie at the beginning. I just kind of felt this need to document the process, because at first I thought, oh, that's interesting. 2 grown-up men are about to build the flying monk's temple. How interesting is that? So I started following the process, and then of course the production company got involved, and we got some funding, and then it became a real movie. Now awarded movie.
Awarded.
Yes. It's been nominated for several awards, and twice in Sweden, but this is our first real award. So how great is that?
It's great. It was also a great experience to see it again, because we saw it several times, right, Emily, in the jury, and it's it's so many subtle things that you see, realize
when watching the.
Yeah. More questions?
Have you shown it in China?
Sorry.
Have you shown it in China?
Actually, no. I know that also the Minister of Culture gave this film as a present to China's Minister of Culture. I'm not sure he watched it, but before that, before giving the film as a present, there was a special commission who watched it. Trying to see if that's not a political, and that's interesting, because in a way it is, right? But then they didn't kind of read it that way.
Okay.
Yeah. But it was interesting. Well, it hasn't been shown in China, but some Chinese have seen it, and it was a very interesting response where they watched the film and they said, "Oh, that's exactly how it's happening, you know. You take this architect with knowledge, you use him," and that was their reading of the.
Yeah. Also, what we said in the comment to the film, that the recognition for the architect, he has this vision, this almost religious dream that he wants to bring the monks up in the air. And then you suddenly, in the film, you see them pointing out, there will be a ski slope, and there will be bungee jump, and
yeah. Well, but I would say I was not trying to build, the good guy and the bad guy. I mean, and that's why you go to the roots of the investor. He's this little boy, actually, who's been living in the cave with his family, and he reached to some point in his life where he has money, and he I think he's still this little boy dreaming of helicopters and flying people, and for him it's not he goes along with the dream, but only in his own kind of way. Also for the architect, I mean, well, as I said, it could be read and seen in different ways. I see that I'm thinking the architect, he's looking for this kind of Zen Buddhism, and I think he finds it in this countryside floating sauna rather than the
good place
Zen
that you want to
mountain.
Right.
But I also I don't think he's for example, for some people watched the movie and they said, oh, how great, he built this monumental building, and he's probably very happy and proud. You know, it's always. Yeah.
Any more questions? Yes.
The architect called it an amphitheater.
Amphitheater.
Is it meant to be a lot of people watching some person fly,
Yeah.
like an exhibition kind of, or is it more like an experience theme park?
Both.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree. It's both. But yes, it's so around the building you can see something that looks like the stairs.
Yeah.
It's all you can sit there, and yeah, it was meant to be. It is actually partly commercial project. You pay money, and then you can watch the performance. But the performance was supposed to tell the history of the place, and yeah, it still will, but in maybe a different way.
How did you get permission to film with a drone, the practicing Kung Fu? That was so exciting.
Yes.
You don't know what's really happening. Is it military or whatever? And then when you come closer, then you realize that it's young people
Yeah,
practicing
the opening
moves.
shot. Yeah.
How did you get the permission to do it?
So that was the, how to say, good side of investor being involved with the government. We got all the permissions, but at the same time, no one was controlling what kind of film we were making. So absolutely amazing situation, because yeah, we've been stopped for many times on the streets, also with the drone by the police, but then we had this letter with the red star, and it was kind of, we could go anywhere, do anything. It opened a lot of doors.
Maybe you're not supposed to ask this, but I will anyway. Do you yourself have some kind of favorite passage or favorite moment from the movie? Or is it, which one of the children do you love the most?
Yeah, it's that kind of. I every time I see it, I see it differently. So every time something else becomes favorite.
I really appreciate when the man, is he called Zhu?
Mr. Zhu.
Mr. Zhu and the architect, when they communicate and they can't speak, and you see we understand each other.
Yeah,
I think that's lovely. You can see it in their faces, in their body language.
Yeah, of course, as in any film, so much material was left outside, and also talking about making or not making political film. For me, it was very important not to go into, because you can always find some kind of dirty details, someone not being paid. But I wanted to keep respect towards architect, also towards investor, and kind of make it go more into the poetic side of the story.
More open to interpretation.
Yeah.
Okay, last question.
Tell me a little bit about your next project, because you're going to the festival tomorrow.
Oh, yeah. That's we are premiering a short film that's based on poetry, and interesting enough, somehow it also involves some architecture models and also some 3D printed furniture that's small enough so you can put the whole kitchen set on someone's eyelash. Very interesting film. But my next project, and I think maybe I'm in the right place to talk about that one, is actually about, so there are a couple of projects. One, the documentary film is about something called nail houses, or in America they call them holdouts. It's the situation where, let's say there's some kind of construction, the road or a shopping mall or something being built, and then there's this one person, the last nail, you can't get out, who refuses to move.
Okay.
Because like a lot of times you have to demolish even the whole city. So yeah, that's that. Oh, we have so much, and you're welcome to share if you have or you know any story like that. I'm trying to find something that's ongoing. Because in the past there have been so many stories where you have a highway and then there's a house in the middle of the highway just because the person wouldn't leave. So that's kind of that's the next thing.
Like Mrs. Melnikov or somebody from the Melnikov family went in Moscow to say we aren't going anywhere. Have you been there? All around the houses are these high buildings, but this lady just said, get out of here.
There was a lady like that in the States who refused to sell her house, so they wanted to build a Trump Tower. She said, no, I'm not selling my house to Trump. And they built a tower next to her house, and now every day she opens her window and there's a Trump Tower just in front of her. So, but the stories are so many. We'll see which ones we choose.
Vad säger du?
Letter? No?
Yes, I have the letter and I will give it to you so you can read it for yourself on your way home. One more round of applause, I think.